Hello, Connecticut folks. This is Selena Rifkin. I'm here with Jason Douglas, and this is the Connecticut Common Sense Podcast. So it's
Hello,
just
everybody.
hi, everybody.
It's good
So
to see everyone. It's an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous day yesterday and today here in Connecticut with dry air and 70 degrees. You gotta love this. This time of year, between this time of year and the end of September is my favorite time of year weather-wise. August 15th through September 30th to me is the best bracket of the year. You could probably go with late April, early May as well, but this would be the best in my opinion.
I
So
love fall.
yeah, I
I
do
love
love.
fall. I'm currently in my monthly undisclosed location. So notice the nice blank wall instead of my,
Make sure you have the
my
IP
usual
address code, or they're
bookshelf in the
coming to get you.
background.
I'm going to take you away. No.
Wow.
So anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot of different things, a lot of random things, and I think it starts with, if I'm not mistaken, is what's going on with the latest, with
Oh,
what we're
yeah.
trying to do here in Connecticut with the RTCs. I
Well, no,
know.
actually, we got even better because John Flynn is out.
Oh yes, John Flynn is out.
Jason.
John Flynn is out. Well, I mean, so tell us about how he got out because you know more about it than I do.
So he was, there was, he had two different people who were advocating for him. One of them was going with a specific process that had to do with the idea that you can represent yourself. There is language behind this, and I'll be honest, I do not understand it completely. Um, but the idea was that the judicial system was so corrupt that this was the only possible way that he could get out. This went on for a while, and then another friend really thought that he should have a lawyer, and so she went about getting him one. And he did, he is out. He is definitely out. I'm not going to go into the complicated interactions between that party there or my opinion of it. But the important thing is that he is out. When he got home, his computers had all been, shall we say, dismantled. All of his hard drives were gone. So whatever he had for evidence on those computers is, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't know how he got there in the first place.
Right, and go get there again.
Yeah, so it could
Hopefully,
be,
it may not be as easy the second time around in these
yeah,
situations.
well, it depends on what he did. So that's
Yeah, we got
that's
to get him on
something that
here.
hopefully we can get him to explain how he got from point A to point B, because I encourage anyone on X to go and follow his account. Just look up
Yeah.
John Flynn, sounds just like it's spelled. He's also on YouTube, and he put everything that he had discovered. Now, I'm going to tell you, he's a little frenetic when he's talking. He's a,
Been through a lot.
yeah, he talks a lot. He's
He's been
very
through a lot
kind of
too.
high speed, but he's
Yeah,
been through a lot.
yeah, right.
And what he's discovered goes right down the line with the voter fraud that is currently documented and in the hands of the Department of Justice. So the stuff that he's discovered might be different than what they know, but it's ugly. Connecticut has been a mess for a long time, and he paid for it. It is a long-term communist tactic to throw people in a mental health hospital when they discover something that the establishment does not like. That is a
Or if they, or if they present enough of a threat as an opponent in general.
yeah,
There
exactly.
are others in there as well.
Yes, there are other people who are in Whiting Forensic Hospital
Yep.
who do not deserve to be there.
Right. So y'all may recall last month when I was at a rally for John Flynn in Middletown by Route 9 that a woman named Dawn handed me a phone, one of those portable plastic phones, very strange looking device, and it was John Flynn on the other line. You may recall he was inside Whiting at the time. We actually talked for a few minutes, and he's the one that told me that there are others in there, multiple in there that have been there for a lot longer than John. And yeah, the way he talks is a little flighty, but he's been look what he's been through. They've been drugging him. They've been putting through He
Yeah.
must have gone through a mental nightmare. Like even the strongest among us mentally would have a hard time dealing with something like that, being
Yeah.
falsely incarcerated and accused of being crazy. I think that's something that crosses all of our minds. Like, what if somebody come and took me away and I wasn't really crazy and they said I was and locked me in a room like Jack Nicholson once flew over the cuckoo's nest? What would I do?
That's
Well, that
right.
happened to him, right? That happened to him.
It did.
That's a nightmare that all of us think would be one of the worst things that could happen to us. I would think,
Hmm.
it happened to him. So we want to. I think we have the connections. Hopefully, we can get him on here to this podcast soon to talk with us. I think that's vitally important. And
Hmm.
like we've said, as important as getting him out is what does he know and what did he know? Like you said,
Yeah.
state apparently has taken his evidence. The state of Connecticut is, I guess, the theme of all this is the state of Connecticut government is operating like a communist regime and not like an American democratic two-party system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And which brings us to our next topic. How
Yeah.
do we fix it, right?
Yeah. How do we
We
fix
need
it?
people's help, okay? At the very least, you got to get off your butt and go vote and get registered to vote between now and next fall.
Yeah, and that includes in the
Really,
primaries, it includes in the mayoral elections that are
this
coming up.
year, right?
Yeah, we have a mayoral, I can't say that
Mayor,
word.
mayor, mayor, mayoral,
Mayoral.
mayoral. It's mayoral election. It is a little
Thank you,
difficult to say.
Jason. Thank you. You saved me.
It's my old school training at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Okay, very good.
You know
Well,
what I learned from Connecticut School of Broadcasting?
what?
How to do tongue twisters.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah, Peter
Are you
Piper
going to
picked a peck of
regale
peppers.
us?
Peter Piper picked a peck of peppers. A peck of peppers Peter Piper picked. Susie sells sea by the seashore. How much wood would woodchuck chuck if woodchuck could chuck wood? You chuck as much wood as woodchuck could if woodchuck could chuck wood.
Oh dear God.
All right, that's a little getting off on the
Please
tangent
stop.
here. But more on a more serious note,
Yes.
have you ever noticed that people on our side, on the right side politically, the 80% of us are generally a little more upbeat and happier, whereas these guys that are on the other side are just miserable.
Mhm.
But
Well,
they're
yeah,
blaming
I
their
mean,
misery. They blame their misery on us instead of on the
uh,
people that are leading them in the wrong path.
yeah, well, generally so. Although
Getting through to get
I will say that there is a certain percentage of very angry Republicans out there. I can't say as I blame them. Um, and
aimed at our party in Connecticut. You mean?
yes, angry
Yeah,
Republicans
on
in
Connecticut.
Connecticut
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they have been trying to deal with the system for so long and having no luck in how they're, in what they're trying to do. Um, and I get it. But I also chewed a few of them out last week on X because just because you failed doesn't mean that you get to decide that everyone else is going to fail.
That's for
Right.
sure. And it doesn't mean that we won't succeed now. This is
Right. This is a different time.
different era. Social media, podcasting, things like this are going to make a difference. Are making a difference. They made a difference for Donald Trump. I don't think Donald Trump would have
Yeah,
ever.
perhaps.
Donald Trump would have probably never won in 1980.
Hmm. Yeah, that's probably fair. I mean, this shaping of the narrative has been going on for, I think, much longer than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's, we look at something like what was going on with George Bush and we, Clinton, he was okay. He wasn't okay.
He was
He
never
wasn't
okay.
okay at all.
No, back then they did it. Back then, Clinton is just as diabolical as Obama is, quite
Yeah,
frankly. The
yeah.
difference is that was a different time when they were being more treating the American public with more kid gloves. They didn't
Mm.
want people to see what they were up to, so Clinton talked a
They
much
were
more
able to
diplomatic
be
game.
more sneaky.
They had to be more sneaky,
Yeah.
but now they've been because of things like Wikipedia and that developed and Facebook and social media. That now it's like they've been exposed. I call it the succubus factor.
Mm.
They've been unmasked and exposed, and now they're like, blah, 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 blah. Burn the cars, then you
Like
know,
like V.
walk away from the
Watch
legislator,
V.
then hold up in another state, whatever, you know what I mean. So yeah, so they've been
Jason,
exposed.
did you watch V in the 80s?
V, you know what? A little bit, and not. I don't remember it too well
Oh,
though.
you
I
missed
remember the
something
show.
good.
You ever see the movie V for Vendetta?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah.
Of course I did. No, I'm
I remember
talking
that show.
about, no, I'm
Was
talking
V a
about the
miniseries?
lizard people.
Was it a miniseries though, or was it a?
Oh, no, it was a series. It was on TV and it was this the Earth was invaded and
I
they
do kind of remember it.
came,
I
they
never
were
watched it
called the
really.
visitors and they
Yeah.
came in and they were very pretty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're very pretty and they were they like had this kind of militaristic, outfit, but they were very nice and they smiled and they were going to give us
I do
technology and
remember that
stuff.
show
And
now.
it turns out that when their skin came off, they were lizard
Yeah.
people.
Evil people.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were lizard people. It
Well,
was
that's what a guy like the mayor of New York is. This guy, not the mayor, but the guy running for mayor, Badami
Yes,
Manami, whatever.
Mamdami. I'll say it.
Mandani.
I can say that one for you.
You could say that one
Mamdami.
for me. I don't even want to say his name right. That guy makes it despicable.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
like, that's what he is. He's V,
Yeah.
New York City, right? I mean, he's
Yeah.
coming in all handsome and partying with the kids in the streets and
Right.
giving away short-term gifts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
promising everything for free, a
Yeah.
better life, basically this impossible utopian life, and for the kid. I mean, that's what he's doing. He's selling a bag of goods, and we're
Yep.
getting that in Connecticut too.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Boston mayor, and the people of Boston, not the people of Boston, please, the mayor of Boston,
oh,
and
good
their
Lord.
thugs have, again, flipped their middle finger at the ICE today.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. Do tell.
Well, today was the deadline for the DOJ at several sanctuary cities to change their
Oh,
policies before they were going to
okay.
get sued.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
further action would be taken. And
Okay.
apparently, from what I heard just recently, Pam Bondi, the DOJ, is negotiating with some sanctuary cities about how to modify the policies and make it
Okay.
more. So that's interesting.
Okay.
I don't know if it's genuine on their side or not. Probably not, but
Probably not.
probably not. But Boston, but that apparently some cities are they're
Mhm.
negotiating now. But Boston's just said put up the old middle finger.
Got it.
Good old Boston, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
The city
Yeah.
where it all
They're
started.
dug in there. Massachusetts is, I think, is about as dug in as we are. I don't know if they have so much of the commie influence as we do
No,
because,
we're worse in a lot of ways, but they're dug in pretty bad too.
yeah.
Funny. It's really ironic though that Boston is the birthplace of MAG,
Hmm.
right? Not MAGA, but MAG, Make
Mm,
America Great.
right.
It started there,
Right.
and here now they're on the wrong track. Boston is on the wrong track.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Yeah, it's some crazy
But
stuff.
in terms of one of the key things to making Connecticut work, and I'm going to address what you said about
Mhm.
the many Republicans in Connecticut that are very angry
Yes.
with our broken system,
Hmm.
our broken party. I mean, in Connecticut,
Or a broken party. Yeah,
yeah.
it's broken party.
And you all know I ran for chair against Ben Proto, right? And lost because not one MAGA committee Republican member, about 22 of them, I know who you guys are, and ladies, who did not nominate me because I know they have their what they call their reasons, and I do have some understanding of it. But there's no excuse really anymore. There's just too much at stake. It's time to stand up and fight. Ben Proto is absolutely incompetent, and at the worst, actually, that's the best I can give him. Incompetent. It's
You know
more
what?
like
I'm
disingenuous and
going to
corrupt,
disagree with you, Jason. I think he's very competent,
but
but his
corrupt.
goals are not the goals of making Connecticut great. His goal
No,
is something else entirely, and I don't know what it is.
it's probably personal gain, and for the other side, we heard about the Virgin Islands story earlier this year. So
We have, yeah,
yeah,
we
so that's
talked
why
about the Virgin Islands.
when I say he's incompetent, that's the best compliment I give him. He's actually corrupt and really on the other side. He may even be a plant. We know the
I don't
other
know.
side does plant. They treat Republicans. They call us Nazis. They treat us like criminals. They consider our point of view to be criminal. That's why they want to take away freedom of speech and ban us even talking about it if they had their
Yeah.
way. So
Now,
what do they do?
the
They'll
other thing
send
I'm
in.
thinking about here is that this has to go back long before Ben Proto. I mean,
Oh, of course.
we're putting this on him, but obviously this has gone back decades. And it's like coming into this knowing just about nothing. It's like, well, Ben Proto's only been in for a few years.
Yeah, I don't know about
You
before
know,
Ben Proto or anything like that.
he wasn't
My
even in
guess.
when we got the super majority. So whoever was before him, and I don't know
Yeah.
who, this has obviously been going on for a very long
It's
time.
probably been an evolution down the tubes ever since Ella Grasso was here. Really, it's that's really I think things were kind of okay then.
Mm,
And she's a Democrat, ironically. She was a good woman and a good governor. She's like the John F. Kennedy of Connecticut, I think.
okay.
El Grasso. She's a good woman. But anyway, and Bill O'Neill tried to be good, but he was a Democrat too, but he was kind of like just a wishy-washy guy. And I think from there, I would imagine it's just been an evolution of decline. I'm sure the
Mm.
Republican committee with John Rowland was probably good, I think. But I'm sure it just probably crumbled from the bottom up. Was more town committees became corrupt. Eventually, they elected a corrupt chair, who was probably whoever came before Ben,
Yeah, it's tough to
and
say.
then
I
Ben.
mean,
So
the comment that I hear a lot on X, because I've been talking to a lot of people about this, is they call this the country club GOP, because it's very much about gatekeeping and
yeah, so good old
keeping
boys
out
club.
people.
Yeah, good old boys club.
The good old, yeah,
Good old boys
the
and
country
ladies and gentlemen
club.
club, whatever you want to call it.
And when we had when I interviewed Dan Schultz, who is the guy who promotes precinct strategy.
Yeah,
One of the things he talks about is that in most Republican town committees, you don't have, it's like there's a lot of these state central seats that are just empty. That is not a problem in Connecticut. Apparently, this is a great place for people to be if you have something to get out of it.
yeah, it's a personal gain thing.
I'm
It's a
thinking
club.
so.
Yeah,
So,
it's a social club, and that's what it is. It's become a fraternity of their own fraternity of
mhm,
corruption, essentially. It's a fraternity of corruption. I think I've heard
right,
that phrase before somewhere.
right.
That's where it is, and that's what it is. And we got to break it up,
Yeah.
And I think we can with enough people's help, enough people's support.
Yeah, I
That's
think
why
we
we need
have to
more
get,
guys like John DeBarros to come out
yeah.
and more people to
In the
join in what we're
meantime, we
doing.
have to go around them.
We have to go around them,
Yeah.
and we can supersede them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've experienced something recently with Marianne Turner, right? When you and I both spoke with her, she's Ben's assistant. She's a pain in the. She's I don't I almost want to think that. Here's what I think about her. She probably started off good, wanted to help Republicans, blah blah, blah. And she works really hard. But the people that took over the office are corrupt, and she's just gone along with it,
People
and just
tend to do that.
folded in under it. Yeah, which a lot of people do, So I don't think she's
Yeah.
a bad person underneath it all.
Yeah.
But I actually texted her today. I
Oh,
had
did
spoken
you?
to her. Yeah, I decided to text her. Basically, told her party was breaking up, and it was a little bit of a taunt. I did it politely, but it was, I could read it actually. I don't have it in front of me, but it was really because her and I had a really nice. You guys may remember back in June when I
Yes.
was running. Her and I
Yes.
had a nice conversation on the phone for about
Right.
45 minutes. So I very politely told her that Ben was, you know, completely incompetent or maybe worse, and that we were just going to go around him,
Hmm.
and that we would appreciate her tacit support. I think you're a good person, Mary. I think you want to do what's right, so we appreciate your tacit support. That's what I said.
Okay.
We're doing this. We're doing this without Ben. With
Uh,
guys like John DeBarros. I think I said,
okay.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. Going right to the
So,
people. How with this?
yeah, so we really do need, speaking of Jonathan again, we really need people to come out for the primaries. If you are a registered Republican, please come out and be aware of who you're voting for in the primary, because this is how the Republican Party has been choosing candidates, because they don't get enough people to come out and vote in those primaries, and we can
Hmm.
overwhelm them with numbers. So
Yes.
just plan on making sure that you vote in the primaries. If you are not going to be in town, I'm sure you can still be able to do an absentee ballot, a proper absentee ballot. That is not the same as a mail-in vote, as the
No.
president was talking about, as he's going to,
Right.
I guess he hasn't signed it yet, but he's going to do an executive order so that there will be no mail-in ballots. And
Primaries are August, right?
yeah, I think
All right. So if you're a
I don't know. I
snowbird,
don't
if
know
you're
if there's a date for signing that. And I think he's actually gonna like get rid of the machines too by executive order, which
good.
is like I am so happy about that. Oh my God, Jason, I can't even tell you how happy I am about it.
Yeah,
So
Connecticut will sue to prevent it.
of course they will.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course they
So,
will.
yeah,
So, but fortunately, we've got a little more than a year yet for them to get
settle that. Yeah,
help us with that. Because,
yeah.
oh
The
Lord.
voter integrity is so huge.
It is. And that was, and that was a chunk of what John Flynn discovered. And, it's so out of hand.
So,
And
and also it is out of hand, but we can fix it. I think
yeah, we can fix it.
if we can just, we have, I think we have overwhelming support among the people of Connecticut, is my opinion.
I
A
believe
fair
so.
election, we win hands down everywhere,
Yeah.
cities, country, you name it.
Yep.
However, the election's got to be fair. So even if we fix half of the problems,
Yeah.
and not all of them,
Hmm.
in terms of voter integrity, election integrity, I mean,
Right.
we can solve, because there's about, it was pointed out to us by what, Joel Duff was his name,
Which one?
the guy that was into the voter integrity. I met him in Milford. He has
Oh,
Joel Duff, I think is his name. Um,
I don't know. I didn't
he
mean it.
pointed out 16 different deficiencies of vote, or
Oh,
16 different
that, right. You
security
were
measures,
talking
right?
about that last week.
13 of which were not being done in Connecticut. So if
Right.
we get fixed even 7 or 8 of those,
Right.
that might be enough to put us over the
I
top.
see.
Because
And let's remember that Scott Pressler registered enough Republican voters that, they did flip Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania is almost as corrupt as we are.
yeah,
Their
yep.
their scorecard
That's why you,
on
the people, are the answer.
The United Sovereign Americans did a scorecard for them too. It's also very bad, in
Yeah,
terms of their election, but he got enough people out to the polls that they
which
were able to show a win. So that was good.
that's why the key to Connecticut turning red is you, the people.
Yes.
So spread the word about our podcast. We want more people listening. John Anderson's coming back. We're going to do more podcasts. We're going to have additional podcasts.
Hmm.
We're going to really expand this thing, get the word out.
Yes.
And I know people that are exploring, there are some people I know of, including myself, they're exploring the idea of running for office here in Connecticut. So
Yes.
I've talked about it before. I don't know what the capacity, but we need people with big mouths like me to run for office. I
Yeah.
personally don't particularly want to, honestly,
Mhm.
because it's a lot. It's a commitment.
Yeah.
And if you're going to run, you got to have strong, you got to have some, but we're here to help this time.
Yeah.
Those of you who are angry with the Republican Party about the way things have gone over the last 30 or 40 years, we understand, but fear no more. Dust yourselves off and come back to work, because the Republican Party is getting up. The people are getting up and fixing the Republican Party. We're one of the biggest movements doing it. If you are listening to this podcast and you are either the leader of or one of the leaders of another movement in Connecticut, whether it's online or in person, like the Republican Renaissance, Patriots, there's a CT-ROM, right? What else? Can you name a couple more?
I'm not even sure.
There's a bunch
I
of
mean,
them.
we're a network at this point.
We're
We just
right.
know a lot of people.
We know a lot of people, and we know a lot of people that are trying to do what we're doing. And so, if you're listening to this podcast and you're one of those people, please pay attention to the upcoming, or wait for our contact with you, because we have built profiles again in all the towns, all the districts that are like. It's one thing to gather information, and Selena and I and John, everybody have gathered, and Amber and Court have gathered a ton of information over the last 9 months or so,
Yeah.
and we have all of it. But it's one thing to gather data. It's another thing to utilize and organize that data. And that's what we've
Yeah.
accomplished now with these profiles. So if you're one of these people, please contact us. We will contact you, or please contact us if we haven't found you yet, and tell us, hey, I'm running this thing for Windham County, or I'm running this thing for, we're trying to flip Connecticut red from this area, that area, or the other area of Connecticut, whether it's local or statewide.
Yep.
Get in touch with us, or I'm Joe Schmo from Wyndham and I want to fix the Wyndham RTC. How can I help? Whatever you think it is, okay?
It's perfect. It has to come down to individuals and individual towns.
Yeah, so contact us, and we can put you, once we realize that you're legitimate, because the other side will try to infiltrate this. So
We have good
once we
word about
realize you are legitimate, then we will put you on where you can, your group can log into our profiles and monitor what's going on anywhere in any other town. So if you run into anybody from another town, you can see what's going on with that, and you can update your own town and just stay in communication. And these documents that are going to be online. They already are online, but they're going to be accessible to all of us around Connecticut that are like-mindedness. Are not just for data; they're also working documents. So they have lists of tasks and actions, the tasks that need to be done for this town or this district, and the actions that are being done. So I've had lunch with the mayor on this date, or I went to an appointment here. I spoke with these two possible candidates on this date. And it'll actually be a log of actually what's being done, which we don't have anything like that now. I know the committee doesn't have anything like that now, right now. And then
Mhm.
we can never put it together and be organized and win this thing if we keep having 10 million different because the sentiment has always been there.
Yeah.
And because of the internet and because of social media,
And our cell phones, for
and
God's
our
sake.
cell phones that are now put together all in one. This is doable. So those of you again who are angry and fed up with the Republican Party, fear no more. Come forward, dust off the old, and come and help with this next election cycle. And I know it sucks because it's only 3 months away. It really sucks. It's only 3 months away. But the local elections are imperative.
They are.
One of the key things, see, Ben Proto has too much power because he can basically write his own bylaws.
Hmm.
That's what I've been
Yes.
told.
Yes,
And
yes. Yes.
actually, and one of the things they told me a lot when I was running for chair, one of the retorts I kept getting was, "You came in too late," of course, and the other one was, "You, um, you got to read the bylaws." I think Marianne Turner even told me that. Got to read the bylaws. Well, I have read some of the bylaws. Yes, I have, and yeah, they're pathetic. They're not democratic. It's not. They're not. So
I'm really wondering, and this is something that I've been thinking about because it is certainly, um, I kind of I did a little research into, what are the rules of political parties. And
they
effectively,
make their
every
own.
RTC has its own little set of rules. It has its specific membership numbers, which typically you have to be voted into an RTC. So that's another barrier to entry. Um, so, it's like how many people can they have in the RTC, which is usually a small number, which makes it really easy to control.
Yeah.
They and the state party has no control over that, and the RNC has no control over the state parties.
Yeah, but doesn't the town have Doesn't there a referendum in the town? Don't the towns have a? There's no public involvement at all. I
No
thought there was some
public
kind of.
involvement, no,
So,
no
so
general public.
it's the other committee members that elect them their own members,
Yes.
and there's no. So if we wanted to change bylaws and say Harwington, for example,
You have to be in the Harwinton
you
RNC.
have to have the majority in the
Yeah.
committee to rule in the bylaw changes,
Right,
which is very hard to do.
right. Now, I don't know if I mean, there could potentially, I mean, this is why I wish we had a lawyer we could talk to.
Yeah.
As like, I don't know if local town laws could have any jurisdiction over, um, political parties. I don't know how that would work
Well, my
because it seems
understanding.
like if you're going to have a political party, there should be some sort of consistent rule base. I mean, we have in the United States, we are a constitutional republic, and it seems like if you're having a political party, that there should be some baseline there that
Yeah,
everybody's following. I mean,
there should be
maybe
some.
there's reasons why that would be a terrible idea. I don't know, but and I
I
don't
guess
even
I'd
know
have to.
how you'd approach that.
Well, I mean, first of all, I guess I'd have to look a little more closely at a typical town and who are the all who first of all who are all the elected officials in that town. There's the
Hmm.
mayor, there's the council
Right,
members,
right.
right? And then is there a there isn't one for each like a Republican RTC chair would be the guy that leads that party in that town, right?
Well, that would be the party, and some of this overlaps. For example, in my town, the RTC chairman is also a selectman, and I think that's fairly common that the people on those,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
think
makes sense.
that's
That makes sense. It's fine. But here's the other thing. My understanding is that, like, say, Michael Watley, for instance, the Republican National
yeah.
Chair Committee member, does have the power, from what I understand, to go in and remove a guy like Proto if he thinks he's not doing the job. So if that's the
I don't
case,
know. That would be
that would in
also
turn maybe give Proto the power to go and remove a town committee chairman he didn't think was doing the job, potentially. But of course, Proto wouldn't do that because he's corrupt and
right.
whatnot. But I guess my point is, could Michael Watley help us? They did sign for
I
my
don't know.
letter. So,
That's, I
by the
mean, I'd
way,
like to think he could, but I
I,
don't
I,
know.
I don't think I updated everybody on that letter yet. You asked me about it the other day.
I
After I
did.
ran for chair and was not nominated, I sent, you may remember, I posted it a couple months back, 3 letters, 2 to the committee and 1 to Michael Watley, the national chair. 2 of them came back, returned to sender. The two in Connecticut came back, returned to sender. The one to Washington was signed for.
So you got it.
They got it. I haven't heard
Okay.
back.
All
So
right.
we're going to do a little double checking on the 2 in Connecticut, maybe resend on those two, I think.
Yeah.
But this
Well,
that's
and maybe we can come up with a letter writing campaign or
but
something.
could Watley help us with RTCs somehow?
Yeah, I don't know.
Now,
And
my understanding is that from like I know I have not a lawyer, but my understanding is that a political party is a private corporation, essentially a
yes,
private nonprofit organization,
right,
and therefore makes its own rules,
right. I
not
consider
answerable to
consider
anybody.
what happened to Bernie Sanders, and that got taken to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said no, they can do whatever they want.
Yep, and that's what we're going to get here.
Right.
Which, how do you change something like that? You would have to be that would probably take an act of Congress in Washington,
Well,
or maybe even a
the
constitutional
other
amendment.
the other thing of this, and this is something we've been talking about, is literally flooding the RTCs,
Yeah, that's the only way.
social pressure,
That's
and
the
that means
only
that
way.
more people have to be involved.
So if your town has say 8 RTC committee members, we need
Mhm.
16 people to show up.
Right.
Think double whatever the membership is.
So that's one of the things we want to know is like in your town, how many people are allowed to be on your RTC?
That's very
I think
important.
that's the first question
And
because
then
it's
that's
probably
that's
going
why,
to vary by town,
and
obviously.
even you can go to these,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can attend
yeah.
these
Most
free.
people are not going to have the problem that I have. Most of the time, you can just go to your RTC meeting. I
Yes.
can't find mine.
Yeah.
Um, I I guess I'm special.
Yeah. Tell
Uh,
us about what happened with Antonio. Give us the lowdown.
yeah. So I have reached out to my RTC chairman. Um, let's see, three times, some October, January, and then June. Nothing. I looked on, obviously in January, there was no meeting whatsoever. Nothing, no meetings were on the GOP website. And now they've put all of the meetings on the events page. So I went, I tried to attend the meeting that was listed on that page, and the address didn't exist. I don't mean the meeting wasn't there, I mean the address didn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was a building on one side, and there was a building on
Something.
the other side, and there was parking
Was
lot.
it a case of dyslexia syndrome, or
I don't know.
you know how much I get
I
that at work?
do nothing, but it has not been corrected because the address is the same. I did hear from, I did speak with, I had the what do you call them? The state central people. I emailed the state central people, and
Mhm.
one of them must have gotten to him because he finally got to me and said, "Oh, you want to be involved? Great, okay, but we're not having any meetings anytime soon." Okay.
Wow.
It's like,
Crazy.
yeah, that's pretty insane. It's like, oh, because Democrats take the summer off. Of
Wow.
course they do. Yeah, sure.
Well, they're in power. They can.
They don't. Democrats never take time off.
No, they don't.
They don't take time off. They're
No, they're too miserable. They're
campaigning
too miserable.
365 days a year, which
No,
is
they
what we
can.
have.
They just don't. They can, but they don't.
Yeah. So, but so this is like, okay. So at least I
Wow.
have an email. And I'm hoping, apparently, someone sent me a contact for somebody else who's in the Ansonia RTC. So I'm waiting, I'm hoping that she'll get back to me. Um, so that would be great.
But
But
that's really the only answer. Like I'm thinking about this. We were just talking about the crux of the problem. Does the whoever have any control over how these Republican committees operate?
hmm,
Outside of the Republican committee itself, and the answer is no. But
right.
there's a reason for that, and that's a good reason too, though, because we
Hmm.
don't want government to have oversight over political parties. That opens the door for a whole new thing of corruption,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the answer is you, the people, we, the people.
Yes,
Flood the RTCs, show up, demand change,
yes, yes.
and they will change. They will. Most of them will. And
Yeah.
you know, I can't emphasize it enough. We have to be more than just. It has to be more than just tacit or passive support.
Hmm.
Like at the very least, you got to make sure you register to vote and go out and vote on your primaries, local elections, and full elections. Number one, and
Yep.
then beyond that, talking to people at the second level is talking to the people that you come across in your everyday life. Now, I know that I think even 2 years ago that would have been a hard thing to do, but today there's so many people. We're in the 80-20 here.
Yep.
Okay, so As soon as you get a hint of somebody that feels like they're open the door to talking, just talk to them. Tell them that, look, like what I said to
Tell them about
June.
John Flynn. That's
Tell them
it.
about John. Tell them about John Flynn. And then this spring I had you may remember I had my mother had a lunch with me at my mother's house. It was me and my mother and two of her old liberal friends from West Hartford. And somehow my mother's like, please don't bring up politics. I'm like, okay, so I didn't, right? But then about two-thirds of the way, one of the women looked at me. So what do you think about the politics? I looked at my mother, like, what do I do?
Darn it.
So what I said to her was this. I said, look, I never was a big fan of Donald Trump. And that's true. Back in the 80s when he was like the womanizing real estate mogul guy, I was like, Donald Trump's some New York wacko. I didn't care about the guy, you know? Um, like Donald Trump or not, is what I said to him in a nutshell. Like Donald Trump or not, his economic policies are spot on
Hmm.
for the people of America first and ultimately the people of the world.
Yeah.
They're spot on. And so, and I can't, as a guy who's into math and the numbers are don't lie when they tell the truth, and I can't go away from that. And they actually, I basically truncated both of them. There was really nothing they could say, and
Mhm.
so things like that, right? Lines like that. Then tell them about John Flynn, like you said. Things like that
Talk
will
about the voter fraud. There's receipts for this.
tell
There's
them to look up to Joel Duff, I think is his name, Joelduff. Tell them to look at his on X and on Facebook and see the research he's done on voter fraud. These are factual things. And here's another thing: how can you even take an argument now for a guy who's stopped 5 or 6 wars
I know. Oh my God, it's so amazing.
and saving hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of lives,
Yeah,
and then calling him Hitler?
right.
Hitler killed 6 million
Well,
people. He didn't save 6 million people. I mean, come on,
there's this
people.
whole thing with the left where they're just changing the meaning of words.
Yeah, well,
What's a woman?
the
What's
small number of left,
fascism? What's a
right?
Nazi? You know?
The small number of left wing leaders are evil, diabolical despots that are
Mhm.
fomenting the emotions of a number of misinformed voters that probably otherwise are well intentioned, that have been scared to death, thinking Trump's taken away everything they ever wanted,
Yeah, and
and
they are.
and they're all mentally deranged. That's what Trump derangement syndrome is ultimately, and that's what that is. The really uninformed voters that are
Mhm.
emotionally driven and affected by what these despots are telling them. And what's going to happen here in America and the country is this is going to become an urban country thing because
Mm.
the people are fleeing the cities. Sensible, common sense people are fleeing the cities. You're going to end up with these sanctuary strongholds of left wing pundits in these major cities, blue cities around the country against the
Well,
rest of the
nothing's
country.
done about
And
it.
that's where it's going to come to a head. That's where this whole struggle is going to
Mhm.
come to a head. That if there's going to be a civil war, that's where it's going to take place, and it's inside the blue cities.
Mm.
It's already kind of starting in the blue cities, quite frankly.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, at Washington, D.C. is definitely getting cleaned up. That's a good
That's
thing.
wonderful what's happening there. That's
Yeah.
wonderful what's happening. Now, I mean, listen, I'm going to be fair. No one wants to see military guys walking up and down the streets in America. That's not something that anybody wants to see. Okay, that's not
Let
what
it
this
come
country.
to this.
But
So, but
right, it's come to
let's
this.
get
That
clear. They left L.A. They didn't stay in L.A. They're not still in L.A.
No, of course not. So
So
visually, no
our
one
dad
likes
is
it.
so
But
happy.
it's come to this, and here's my thing on it. You train, you retrain. Basically, the federal government has to take control of Washington D.C., take control of its administration, and then train the Washington Police Department, the Metro Police Department,
Once they
Washington
hire
State,
some more people,
to
and
to
I don't
get
think
them
they're going to
right,
have any trouble
to
getting
get them
ours.
to get them on the right track, get the sanctuary policies of Washington D.C. out because D.C. is unique from other cities. People need to understand this if they don't already. Washington D.C. legally is a different animal than any other city in the United States. Now, all cities in the United States are subject to federal law. Federal law is superior to state law. End of story. However, Washington is a step further. The actual administration of the city of Washington is the responsibility of the federal government. Washington is not a state. Most people know that, but if you don't, it's not part of Maryland. It's not part of Virginia. It is its own entity, and
Mm.
it's controlled by the federal government. Now, over the last 60 years or so, we've basically contracted out control of Washington to a regular city government, which is what it is now, which has become corrupt and also sanctuary and whatnot. So because of the legal stance we have here, it's time the federal to take it over, train the police to do the job right, get a new administration in there correctly, let a new election happen in DC. Let them elect it. The people will make sure the elections are clean. The local DC elections are clean.
They could even take part of the city and just, I think give it to Virginia
Yeah,
because
they were talking about doing that. They were
yeah,
talking about doing that.
yeah, and just
I agree with that to an extent. I don't think they should do that with the actual inner part of the city, though.
I don't think no, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't
No,
for that for the center part, and they may not. I don't know. It's
they
possible,
could get rid of the whole District of Columbia idea altogether, and
right?
just say, "Hey, the White House is in Arlington, Virginia."
Right.
And the what's we call it? What is there in Maryland and DC? All the good stuff's in Virginia. Like if you want to look at the Potomac River as the border, right? Which you
Mhm.
would. When I was 10 years old, my mother says to me, "Would you like to go to Washington D.C. for the weekend with your stepfather?" My stepfather and I weren't very did not get along very well. That's another long story. And I certainly didn't want to go to DC with him for a week. Wouldn't have wanted to go to DC with him for a weekend or whatever alone, right?
Hmm.
But it was Washington D.C. and I
Hmm.
was 10 years old. I'd never been down there, and
Okay.
I had my goal of being in all 50 states back then. I'd only had 6 or 7 under my belt at that time, and hell yeah, I'm going to Washington D.C. So I went down there for the weekend with an old coot and toured the whole city. It was amazing. What an amazing place! And to think of how it's become until recently, thanks to Donald Trump. I heard it wasn't even safe. Many of the people that are criticizing Trump at the same time are also afraid of the crime there. Can you even understand that?
Yeah.
That kind of lack of is it not hypocrisy? I think it's just retardation.
I don't.
Is there a word for that?
It's,
There's not a word for that, is there? You're a writer. Go through the dictionary. You and I both have good
I
vocabulary.
could
Is there
probably
a word
come
for
up with
that? A
several
person
not
who
very nice words for it. So yeah.
moron. How about that? We'll just use moron.
I think Jason, I think the popular term now is retard.
That was a politically incorrect word that's coming back.
Oh, it's so back.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so,
retarded.
yeah, it's so back.
Retarded.
That's so
It's
bad.
one of the obstacles we're facing here in Connecticut. So, but there's good news is we outnumber the retarded
Yeah.
by quite a bit. Okay. And
And
again, I
it's
want to
looking
appeal to the hundreds of thousands of registered independents here in Connecticut that have probably been voting Democratic over the years
or
to wake
not,
up
or not.
or not voting at all or not. But listen, the Democrats have been, or not because of election integrity. But
Right.
those of you that have been voting for Democrats over the years, thinking that you're voting for the right party or thinking that, or you register, like I said, Connecticut, as we know, has more independent. The majority of people in Connecticut are registered as independents, correct?
Right. Which is an actual party.
Yeah, which is another thing I want to get at.
Which
What
is
if, let's say I decided I wanted to run for governor? Let's just say, for instance, I decided I was going to give up my business to my kids and just invest every dollar I have at every moment to run for governor, right? And but I don't want to run as a Republican. Just say this. This is a hypothetical. I want to run as an independent, right? Can I run do I have to become a member of the independent party or can I just run as no party affiliation? Can I get on the ballot under no party affiliation?
I don't know. I was up
I'm
until
asking
like a
anybody.
few months ago, I didn't know that independent was a party.
Yeah, it is a party. Yeah.
I did. There's a few months ago, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is new to me.
It's only a party, I think, on face. I don't think they have an independent committee or there's no
Yeah,
independent
they do.
meetings.
Oh,
They
yeah, they
do?
do. Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah. They
really?
caucus and everything.
Jesus, I did not know that.
Well, now you've learned
Use
something.
my use of the.
No,
Now,
I had a lovely conversation with someone who like went and caucused with the independent party a few years ago. So it's like, yeah, it's a thing.
is that because of Lowell Weicker, I think?
Honey, I don't know.
Well, Lowell Weicker
Like,
came along. Lowell Weicker is the guy, is our evil jerk governor that gave us the income tax. He's the one that gave us the income tax in 1990, I believe it
thanks,
was.
man.
Yeah, and he got himself elected as governor as an independent.
Oh,
But I think so that caucus was what I believe. I don't know
right.
if it predates that or not. Is the birth of this independent party, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know. No,
I don't know if it's the birth of it or you just
this
jumped onto it.
person, it was after that. I'm quite certain because
I
she's
wonder, I would like to know if anybody could message me and let me know. Can you run as an unaffiliated party, no party affiliation whatsoever? After all, that is what George Washington suggested for the country in the
hmm,
beginning, that we don't do political parties, that we just have Everybody speak up their mind, and that's it.
Hmm.
And then the people that we think are the best, we vote in. That run, we
Well,
vote in.
it has to do with getting people on the ballot. Like, once you have a party affiliation, then you can just, you can decide who's going to be on the ballot. Your party gets to decide that, but your party has to be able to be on the
But I
ballot.
think there might be a way to get on the ballot if you get a certain number, a larger number of
You
signatures
have to,
too.
yeah, you have to get signatures. You'd have to get,
That's the answer. That's the answer. You go to the people, you get the million signatures, you get on the ballot, no party affiliation or Republican. And I'm saying this is hypothetical. I think running as a Republican, which might make sense. So I'm not saying running as independent is the thing to do. I'm just suggesting. I'm just wondering what the legality of that is, though.
Hmm.
I think right now
I
you
think
got
we
to
can find that
ride
out.
the momentum with Donald Trump and the MAGA movement and do Republican all the way, baby. So I'm not suggesting anything else. What I am saying, what I am wondering about, though,
If we know what the laws are
we need to know.
around.
We need a lawyer to help us out. I know a lot of lawyers. A lot of them are afraid to talk. It's crazy.
That's great.
Yeah, a
That's
lawyer afraid to
awesome.
talk. Can you imagine?
Uh,
Just that in itself is an oxymoron, is it not?
it really is. Well, it's right up there with doctors who were like afraid to like not push the shot, or you're gonna be started on the medical freedom front there. Because
Well,
yeah, I mean, they were gonna take doctors' licenses away if they wanted to give any kind of alternative treatment. Alternative treatment being medications that have been around for like 50 years and are totally safe. Oh no. I'm going to tell you a little story about, it's like we're going a little sideways here, but in terms of, how the state is controlling things like the bar association and the medical profession. My husband went to his doctor during COVID, and he was explaining that he didn't have the shot, and the doctor's slowly backing up until he's got himself as far away from my husband in the room as he possibly could have. And his whole body language is like he's got his knee up, and it's like, oh, get away from me. And Ron mentioned hydroxychloroquine, and he's like, oh, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Oh, just like, wow. Okay. That's great. But any doctor who, didn't want to use that treatment, or who just didn't want to take the shot, for God's sakes. They were risking getting shut down. A lot, and chiropractors are pretty anti-vaccine just in general,
yeah,
just because of the training they get. And that was a real question. I mean, I was lucky that I worked for a chiropractor because, the office stayed open and I was still working.
yeah,
But he wasn't, it's like if you were in the room, he wasn't worried about the mask thing. So that was good. But my other chiropractor, she just wouldn't do anything with the masks. She's like, I am not wearing a mask. That is nonsense.
yeah. That's me.
Wear a
That
mask.
was me.
Yep.
I wore a mask during the entire COVID thing. I wore a mask for total, and I mean total. And I was counting.
Hmm.
I only put it on when I absolutely had to, only for the most. Luckily, I work for myself. I went to my own office. I didn't have to deal with going to. I feel bad for people that's going to a workplace
Oh
all
God.
day. We're forced to. I know some people. I know a woman who did that. She worked at a gym, and she had to go wear a mask every day for all the time. And now she's got these deposits in her lungs,
Oh yeah.
these
Oh
weird carbon dioxide deposits in her lungs because the carbon dioxide doesn't properly get out.
yeah.
And it gets back into your system and backs up, gives you major respiratory problems.
It's very
So if you're having
unhealthy.
respiratory problems now, you've been
Messes
wearing a
up your
mask,
teeth.
call Trentolo and Trentolo.
Oh
It's a
my
little plug for
God.
Trentolo and Trentolo. You can sue over that. That's bullshit. So I only wore a mask when I absolutely, like, if I was going into a building, so I had
Hmm.
to get some records or something, I'd walk by the guard with the mask. I'd go in, and actually I had a scarf, a winter scarf, middle of the summer. I'd put it around my neck, and I didn't even have a mask most of the time. And I just pull it up. And most of the time, people would let me slide with that.
Hmm.
Uh, I had the local grocery store I go to, right?
I had one of those veil things that hook over your ears.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
the
Because I could
mask
breathe
thing.
through the scarf. The
The only
scarf's not going
time
to do that.
the only time I wore anything that looked like a mask was I had to fly because we lost my brother-in-law. I had to fly
Yeah,
down to Florida for the funeral.
yeah,
So I had a fabric thing, looked like a mask. But
yeah.
but
You're
what
just
I
like
did
me with
was
it.
once I
That's
was
the
in
way I
the
was.
plane, I
Yeah,
took my ticket and I rolled it up on the side. So I
yeah.
had a little snorkel.
I
Couldn't
love
breathe
it.
on the plane.
But 2020, I had to fly in 2023. I think they still had the rules on the
Mhm.
planes, but and I wore only one. Even when once I got my seat, the plane's always, you know, just kind of did this,
Yeah.
like I was not going to wear it. I just wouldn't wear it. Like there were two people that tried to tell me to put one on. Both of them got a tongue lashing.
Mm. Yep.
Or the ones that did it as part of their job, I didn't tongue lash them. I just kind
Mhm.
of evaded them. But the two that didn't seem to have the right to tell me to put on a mask on, or were telling me to put a mask on, they got what for?
Yeah,
And I'm not going to jeopardize my health over it. That whole thing is crazy. The whole COVID thing. I could do a whole show about that alone.
that was insane.
I think not only obviously Fauci's under the gun for it now, thank goodness.
Yeah, it looks like he is.
But
Yes.
I think it's worse than that they just were negligent and allowed it to happen. I think it was pumped up deliberately in order to destroy Donald Trump's first term and
It's like,
economy that he was
who do
doing.
you prosecute?
If you look at the number of deaths,
Yeah.
there are more. There are more.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh
but
yeah.
if you consider the placebo effect,
Mm.
everybody knows the placebo effect is real. If you go on TV and tell you that the common cold is not going to kill you,
Mm.
more people are going to freak out. More people are going to. And we know about how they fabricated the numbers in the hospitals, taking diabetes and turning it into COVID. You
Mhm.
know, so to me, the numbers were fabricated. The truth, in my opinion, is they're never the COVID. Now, here's the punchline.
Mhm.
The COVID-19 was never any more of a threat than any regular flu bug that goes through this
I
country
agree.
at all.
I agree.
It's not. It was a non-story made into not only a story but a fake pandemic to destroy Donald Trump's first term.
I agree. I agree, Jason.
Yep.
Any argument from me?
Yep. So
I,
hopefully that'll eventually come out. Right now, it's not on at that level, but it's going to go there.
it's we're hearing about how dangerous the shots are, and people
Yep.
still, I call them COVID zombies because they're still buying into taking the shots, and
I
it's
know. My mother takes the shot, and my mother now has heart problems. Okay, my mother's 83. She has heart condition now, and she's been had an operation for it now. These heart conditions started after she took the shot.
oh God.
My aunt and I both agree
Mhm.
that we think that the vaccine's behind it because heart conditions generally have a genetic flavor to them, and
Mhm.
both her mother and her mother's mother never had a heart condition.
Mhm.
Yeah, they both died and they're 89 years old actually
Mhm.
from other conditions. So she now she's got a heart condition. So it's hard to prove it, I guess, but it
Well,
feels like that to me.
well, if they weren't doing the autopsies to look for that, then yeah, and they weren't.
We'd have to
I
pay
tell
for
you that
one
I
down the
lost
road.
two brothers-in-law in 2021, both from heart. One of them he had COPD. He's the one I flew down to Florida for.
Yep.
He had COPD, but his heart was strong. He only took the shot because his daughter insisted that he take it or she wouldn't let him see his granddaughter. So he took that
So
shot because he
you
loved that girl.
use that social pressure for that kind of thing.
Yeah. So and it was
I,
not
I
that
suppose
long
she made him
after
so. I suppose she made him so proof too.
relaxed.
Probably made him
And
show.
then, and that was in April. And then I think it was
Did she make him show? Did you make him show proof too? Probably.
I don't know. I
I don't know.
don't know.
Fake that shit if I could.
We have reasons why it's very, the whole thing it's painful. It
Yeah.
hurts.
I feel
Um,
fortunate that nobody tried to make me take a shot.
yeah,
I'm
no one
shot free
attempted
here.
to pressure me either. But
Luckily.
my husband and I but the other person I lost was my other brother-in-law. And he insisted on taking the shot. He insisted that my sister-in-law take the shot. So I think she took one to make him happy. And he lifted weights. He was, as far he didn't smoke, and that's the big thing with heart stuff. He didn't smoke.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he didn't feel well and he didn't get to the hospital. Now, she's like, oh, she's not okay with thinking that it might have been the shot.
How old is he? How old is this? How old is this person?
He was in his 70s. He was still working. I mean,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
still
That's
working.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting. It's
And blockage I think he had like, it was 98% blockage it was like 3 out of 4 arteries. I'm sorry, I'm probably not. And then it was like, 97% in the other. I mean, it was
Yeah,
like,
I heard that some of the autopsies that are being done related to this, they are finding these weird substances inside the
yes, yeah,
arteries and whatnot
yeah.
that they hadn't
Yeah, well,
seen
a lot of this
before.
was that the mortuaries, the mortuary people were finding it's like, what the heck is that stuff? So yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. And and Peter McCullough is still talking about, what happens when you take this thing. And Brett Weinstein, who's an evolutionary biologist, is also talking about this. There's a lot of people who are talking about what this thing does when you get it in your body. And then there's now a flu vaccine that you can just take, which will just like you can just eat the spike protein and it'll just do its thing in your body and you can shed all over the place and share it with everybody.
What?
We really should get a sponsorship for the wellness company because I take their products and they have something called spike support.
You
So
know,
if you feel like you're having COVID symptoms, and this is something I take myself, no, we don't have them as a sponsor, but it's a good product. And it's the I'll find the URL. I'll put it in the comments. Uh,
good. You know what? Our medical establishment and the government oversight over that connection right there may be the biggest threat we face as people.
yeah,
Maybe the single biggest
there's
threat we
a
face.
lot to be said for
I
that
saw an
because
ad for
we aren't
Pfizer.
healthy.
Yeah, I saw an ad for, yeah, you
We
can't
can't
fight.
function.
Right. I saw an ad for Pfizer the other day. You know what their little .com at the bottom was? Pfizerforeveryone.com.
Yay.
Pfizer for everyone. Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't think so.
Now, if I'm a drug company, I want to serve the
Want
people that are
everybody to
sick.
be taking your
I don't want
product.
everybody on Pfizer.
Of course.
They come right out and say it, Pfizer for everyone.
Hell no.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So they may be the biggest threat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's entirely possible. And people are very easily frightened about their health at this point. So I'm really thrilled with Maha.
Yeah,
Are you
that's
are you
huge.
are you gonna take so there's a new challenge that Pete Hegseth and Bobby Kennedy have come
Yeah, I
out with?
saw that. No.
Come on, Jason.
No, I'm not a workout guy. I get my
So
exercise walking around the
just so
streets
our
of
listeners
Connecticut.
know, the challenge is 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups in less than 10 minutes.
Forget it. Forget it.
I can do 50 push-ups.
Can I have the whole day? I might be able to pull it off
I
in a
can do
day.
50 push-ups. I don't know how many pull-ups I could do. So
I probably I'm not the Incredible Hulk I used to be as an older guy. And I have diabetes, so I know exercise is good for people with diabetes,
it
but
is. And I will say I have
passive
taken up running.
exercise. What's
I've
that?
been running again.
Oh,
I,
good. Oh, wow.
yeah, I've been running again.
Would
I
you ever
run in the
consider
woods.
swimming? Would you ever consider swimming over running?
No, you know
Because swimming
why?
is a lot less stressful on your knees and on your hips.
You know why? I'm a sinker.
Oh, you don't know how to swim?
No, I know how to swim, but I sink. I don't, it's
Oh,
like
you can't do a back
swimming.
float.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the
I
same
don't
way.
float. I do
I don't
not
float
float.
either. I don't float either. I've never been able to do a back float.
Yeah.
You see those pictures of those people on their back just going like this? I cannot do that. I'll go right down. So,
Mhm.
but I can still swim, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
can
mean,
still do the
no,
crawl or
you
whatever.
do the motions, you're going to keep moving. But yeah, I'm a sinker.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
so I do not enjoy,
that is the single best way to exercise, though,
yeah, but
in terms of like
I
working
enjoy
all
my
your
running,
muscles.
and I actually like the pressure on the joints is actually good
Hmm.
because you bones need to have some pressure in order to stay strong.
Right.
So that's, and I'm enjoying the running. It's good to get back to it, and I'm starting
I
to
ran the Manchester
narrow.
Road Race. I ran the Manchester Road Race
Huh?
twice.
I don't want to do any racing.
The
I don't run
third,
on cement. I
it was
run
a
on
marathon. It
road.
was a marathon, Thanksgiving Day. Every year in Manchester, they
Okay.
have the Manchester Road Race. And it's actually nationally famous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. Every year on Thanksgiving morning, they have like 10,000 runners. That's a lot of people for Manchester. That's like population of Vernon. I mean, it's a lot of people, and they show from all over the world, Kenya, everywhere.
Huh.
It's only a 4.5 mile or 4.77 miles around Manchester, and I ran it twice when I was 15 and 16 years old.
Okay.
At 17, I started smoking cigarettes, and I couldn't finish it.
Jason,
I know. I don't smoke anymore, by the way.
that's good.
I quit smoking
Start.
cigarettes. I quit smoking cigarettes on January 1st, 2001, and I haven't had one since.
Good.
But I was started smoking in '87 though. And yeah, but running is good for you. Swimming's better. Rowing is a good thing. I have a rowboat. Like used to have a rowboat. I used to use it up in Vermont every year. I'm a rowboat. I am a rowboat maven. I am like Captain Ahab of the rowboat. I can maneuver a rowboat as well as anybody. I challenge anybody to a rowboat race. I'm talking about big aluminum motorless metal rowboat, clumsy one with the big wooden oars. Nobody can do it like me on one of those things.
Okay.
Okay.
I think on that note, do we
We are
have,
there.
were we there? I think we're
We're
there.
there. We're going to talk about AI on Thursday. We're going to bring in John Flynn if we can.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
If not, we'll get to Barrows. We're going to get some good guests on here coming up soon. So stay with us.
All right. Sounds good.
With that, goodbye, Selena Rifkin, Jason Douglas.
All right.
Connecticut Common Sense. Have a good afternoon. God bless Connecticut. God bless America.
God bless America.